What's a good Black Star podcast? Welcome back to Challenge with Jared. Can I ask y'all a question? And don't get me wrong here, but I just got a simple question. First off, how the French toast do you marry somebody without their knowledge of being married? And then when you exploit that loophole, you get 10 years for fraud. So yeah, there's a woman that literally married a man without his consent, and now she's facing 10 years. Yeah, look at this.
Marrying a man without him even knowing about it.
Listen to this story. So a Waco woman is facing charges after marrying her ex-boyfriend without him even knowing.
So many of you may be shocked to know that you could be legally married without even knowing about it. Let's talk about it.
How the fuck is that even possible? How can you be married without... Isn't there, don't on the paperwork you have to have, don't you have to be, don't you have to have signatures and shit and all that stuff, and just to notarize it? Like, what the fuck? How do you exploit a legal loophole like that? And to your ex of all things, that makes no sense.
Now, before we learn how police unravel this mystery, here's a quick message from the sponsor of this video, Zocdoc, which things we've personally used in the city of Beverly Hills, Texas, not California. It's a couple of miles outside of Waco, Texas, which most people are familiar with. Now, on June 2nd, 2025, Spearman and her then boyfriend, who's 42 years old, applied for a marriage license. Now, to really understand how this scheme occurred, I have to educate you on family law, specifically what it takes to get married in certain states. Now, I'm going to be speaking about the law very broadly and then very specifically to Texas. Now, in Texas, there are two ways that the state recognizes a marriage. You have formal marriages and you have informal marriages. Now, formal marriages are simple. They require first you and your partner go and get a valid marriage license. Now, to get a marriage license, both parties must appear in person with ID. Now, just because you have the marriage license doesn't mean you're married. Now you have to go through part 2, which is a ceremony. Now, the ceremony can be performed by a priest, pastor, or even justice of the peace. Now, after that ceremony is complete with both parties present at the ceremony, then the license is signed and returned to the county clerk's office, which records the marriage for all to see. And at that point, you are legally married. Now, there's also an informal marriage that Texas recognizes, also commonly known as common law marriage. Now, for common law marriage, you can get about the marriage certificate and the ceremony. Only thing you need is two people who are living together and they present the intent to be married. And the law also requires them to hold themselves out publicly as husband and wife, as a married couple. Now, if you check those 3 boxes, then you are officially married informally under Texas law. Now, no matter which way you slice it, either formal or informal marriages, both parties must be present and show intent to be married in both cases. So now that you know all that, let's talk about what happened in this case. See, Kristen
Okay, so you have to be present in both situations in order to be considered married. Both formal and informal, whatever the fuck you want to say. So how the French toast did this woman literally exploit a loophole, which I would have thought that there was no loophole, especially when it comes to marriage. How did she exploit a loophole that allowed her to be married to this man without his acknowledgement? That makes no sense. This shit is insane.
Spearman and her boyfriend decided to get married. And the first step on the road to getting married is getting a marriage license. And that's what Kristen and her boyfriend did. They obtained a marriage license.
Well, police say she and her ex had got a marriage license earlier this month, but they broke up after a fight.
He told police that he and Spearman got a marriage license earlier this month, but then broke things off.
So they went through step 1, obtaining a marriage license.
So they got their marriage license at the beginning of this month, supposedly, when this video was recorded. So they got their marriage license at the beginning of the month, and then they broke up during that month because of a fight. If your relationship is that fucking unstable to the point where you literally got a marriage license and then you broke up a few weeks, months, or a few weeks later because of a fight, then that's some stupid shit. Then you shouldn't went and gotten a marriage license. That means your whole entire relationship was unstable in the beginning. That's crazy.
But unfortunately, they broke things off before they got to step 2, which is having the ceremony. Kirsten wanted to be married to this man, but he broke it off. So how could she still get married? She had the license. She had already gone through step 1. So she decided to go through step 2 alone. Now, the law requires that both parties be there at the ceremony to say, I want to be married to this person. But Kirsten was able to trick a priest into marrying her to this man without him being there.
Police say the woman convinced a pastor to officiate the wedding without the man's presence or knowledge.
When I was talking.
So how did she... So at that point, the priest needs to be... His license needs to be revoked because there's no way in the hell that you should have allowed this shit to happen. So at this point, it's on the priest. She tricked the priest into marrying her to this man without him being there, without his knowledge. Yeah, this shit ain't making sense. The more and more I'm listening to it.
To the lieutenant, I said, I don't think in 23 years I've ever heard of anybody who managed somehow to get married to someone who wasn't present for a ceremony. I've talked to the victim, and he's going through a significant process to try to have to fix this at this point.
So she's done it. She is now married to this guy, but he doesn't know. So what does she do? Well, she then goes and files the marriage license with the state, becomes officially married to this man, and then leaves a copy of the marriage license in a bag on his steps.
Well, police say she and her ex had got a marriage license earlier this month, but they broke up after a fight. Then the woman convinced a pastor to sign them without her ex being there.
So after that, she just filed the license with the county, and police say that her ex found out. This is after she left a gift bag on his doorstep with a copy of the marriage license inside.
So because of this obvious fraud, local officials charged Kirsten with third-degree felony stalking.
An unusual wedding in Texas lands the bride in jail.
Kristen Spearman was arrested for third-degree felony stalking. The man claims to have had a relationship with her in the past, but that it had ended before the bizarre wedding there.
So now you may be thinking, hey, this is fraud. Why did they charge her with stalking? Well, they charged her with third-degree felony stalking under Texas law because the authorities are saying she engaged in a pattern of behavior by falsely filing a marriage certificate and sending it to her ex-boyfriend. She did that to cause him emotional distress. Now, even though there were no physical threats, Texas law defines stalking to include actions that would make a reasonable person feel harassed, alarmed, or threatened. And if you are this guy and you find a package in front of your door with a marriage license saying you're legally married to your crazy ex when you didn't go through the ceremony, that would cause someone to feel alarmed and threatened. Now,
that is insane. This woman literally fucking At that point, bruh, you got a crazy one, bruh. You got a cuckoo to fool. Oh yes, you definitely got a crazy one. Yep, you definitely got a crazy one. Because ain't no way in the hell I would have did some shit like that. Sir, I hope you get the justice you deserve because your ex crazy as hell. Your ex crazy than bat shit. You you deserve all the damn help you need because, sir, you are fucked. And I guarantee you this: she ain't signing those divorce papers. If she's crazy enough to pull some bullshit like this, she's not going to divorce you. You're going to literally have to take her to court and sue for that. Anyways, I'll catch y'all later. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the podcast, and Spotify.com. And you better hope that she don't get out. Bye, guys.